Hello and welcome back to my channel where I like to have fun with all things beauty while being critical about what I accept into my collection. Today I am talking about week 1 of the 21 Days of Beauty sale at Ulta. So this sale starts this Friday, August 30th, and it goes for 21 days. And as I'm sure you know, each day is a different flash sale. So they're 24-hour sales just for items for that day, and they're all 50% off. It's definitely the 50% off that makes this sale so exciting. It's not necessarily the items, but I guess a bulk of the sale is probably full of things that aren't selling well, but they do try to throw in some good things. I think the biggest difference between this sale and the spring version of it is they're reverting back to the way that the sale always was. This is a semi-annual sale, so I think to try to switch things up during the last 21 Days of Beauty, they called it the semi-annual savings event or something, but that in and of itself was a turnoff. And then rather than releasing the full 21 days all at once, letting people know what was coming up, they decided to only release the items week by week. That made it very difficult for people to plan. Like, I'm not the best at sticking to a set budget, but at least when I can see everything, if I only want to try one moisturizer, for example, I can compare the different moisturizers and then feel good about the one I decide to pick up. Whereas last year, I had no idea what was coming the following week, and it was just very annoying. I think that's the bottom line. I think it was very annoying, and it made a lot of people, even if they didn't boycott completely, they were definitely complaining. So I'm very happy to see that Ulta heard that feedback and they decided to go back to the way it was. The biggest difference that I see this time around is, yes, there are definitely some online exclusive deals, but I don't see any surprise deals. And in the past, they always did hold out a few surprises, so they weren't released until the morning of that sale, or 1 a.m. if you're like me and you would stay up to see that kind of thing. They always tried to create a little bit of hype around those products. I think often they were the things that they thought might sell out, whatever. So there were always a few surprises. I think they would do 1 or 2 a week. So it wasn't a ton of stuff. But I don't see any surprise deals when I look at the preview on the app. Now, who knows? Maybe they are going to happen and they're just not promoting them, or maybe they've done away with them altogether. I'm really not sure. But regardless, it doesn't really matter because the bulk of the sale is running just like it used to. So a little bit of housekeeping. This is sort of a little bit of a busy week. I know the fall releases are definitely amping up. This palette from Nomad just arrived. And I don't know if I'm going to do a dedicated review to this because, Nomad sends out a ton of PR. So if you're interested in the palette, there's no shortage of reviews out already, but I will at least do a get ready with me where I incorporate this once I've used it a little bit. I just got my hands on these Biodance masks, which are the viral jelly masks that people have been wearing to bed. What prompted me to finally try these was Dr. Dre on YouTube did a review and she liked it. So I figured, why not? I pretty much slug every night. I don't use Vaseline though. I use a creamier hydrating moisturizer. I use the Avène Calm Balm and I put a really thick layer on before I go to bed. And then when I wake up the next day, it's still on my skin. So I think because it's still definitely on my skin, it is more like slugging than just a thick or a sleeping pack or sleeping mask or whatever. Those never lasted on me. The Calm Balm does. So I'm really going to see how these stack up against that. And I still have to film my summer roundup. So everything I bought this summer, a lot of things that I picked up on sale. Do I have any regrets? And do I have any recommendations based on that? That was a video that was supposed to happen this week, but the Ulta sale came instead and definitely took precedence over that. So I'm going to be doing each week as a capsule. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start off with the entire sale, the overview, what I would pick from the entire sale. So if you are looking for a moisturizer and that, for example, and that doesn't come up this week, it's obviously still worth mentioning if you're comparing that to one that comes up this week. So my number one product from the wholesale is definitely the Peach and Lily Copper Peptide Serum. That's a multi-peptide serum. So it's not just copper peptides, it has other good ingredients in there. I have tried, I think, one, maybe two bottles of this, and I really enjoyed it. It absorbed well, it didn't pill, there was nothing sensitizing about it. It was a really nice serum. I'm not sure that I'm totally sold on copper peptides making a huge difference, but I do like peptides in general, so I like to include them where I can, and this is definitely a nice peptide serum. I think this is the most exciting also because this is a newer product, so this is not something that I expected to see. Peach and Lily always has items in this sale, but it's usually not their newer items. It's usually their older products that have been around for a little while. I don't know. I mean, this isn't brand new. This has been out for at least a year, but regardless, it's a little bit popular, so it's exciting, and Peach and Lily doesn't really have deep discounts often. My number two recommendation would be the Kopari Moisturizer. I have bought this several times at this point. It's just a really good moisturizer if you have very dry skin and if you have sensitive skin. I know that I always pick this up. It's not exciting. It's very boring. It's certainly not going to get a lot of hype, but it's a really good foolproof, fail-safe moisturizer, so I do always pick that up. I use it during the day, but you could definitely use it at night as well. It's definitely thick enough. I would say the one thing about this is it's usually in this sale, so I can always get it at 50% off. I would never pay full price for this moisturizer because I have also seen it on sale for 50% off at Macy's and I believe GMA deals. I could be wrong about that, but I know that I've seen it other places at that discount. So just for that reason, I would say it's not the biggest deal, but it's certainly my number two pick. Number three would probably be the CosRX, the 6 peptide skin booster. I just finished a bottle of this. Actually, I got that free with something else that I ordered, I think from Ulta. I think that's where it was a free add-on product, but it's nice. I will say it's very thin, so that's good and bad. It's good because it absorbs into the skin quickly and it makes it easy when you have multiple steps in your routine. But I guess the only downside is I don't necessarily feel like it in and of itself does anything in terms of really effective hydration compared to something like a toner like this, where this Essence toner from Punke Newell is definitely thicker. After I use this, my skin feels noticeably hydrated. When I use this, it doesn't really feel noticeably hydrated, but that's not really a deal breaker if it's getting into the skin better. So I don't know, it just depends. I sort of feel like if this was not in this sale, I would not buy this again. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to repurchase it. However, at 50% off, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a new bottle of it because I sort of feel like why not? It's not messing up my routine, even if it's not adding a huge amount. It's one of those things. I rather have it on board than not, and it's completely inoffensive. So I'm going to be buying that again. I see that these blushes from Benefit are going to be included, and I have used those in the past. I'm going to be buying one during the sale because they're just a good standard blush formula that leaves a hydrated finish without adding sparkle or shimmer. I really love that about these. And the MAC lipsticks, they're just great lipsticks. Like, I always pick one up. I'm not sure if they were in the last sale. They've always traditionally been in this sale, but I think they might have been left out during the spring sale. I'm not sure. But it's just a really good lipstick formula, and it's a great opportunity to try a new shade. So those are definitely my top picks. And if I was better about budgeting, I would keep it to those things and I wouldn't continuously look during this sale. That's what gets me in trouble. It's not when I first look at everything and I pick out my top products, those are all good purchases. It's when I tune in for that day and I see the deep discount and I get curious and then I wind up trying things that I definitely didn't need. I'm almost never happy when I make those impulse decisions. So it's also tough because it's 3 weeks. So it would be easier to say no to myself when a sale is all at one time and I'm making a lump sum purchase and I can see the total. It's when it's sprinkled day by day that it makes it a lot easier to get in trouble financially. So just putting that out there for anyone that needed to hear it. It's definitely something to watch out for. I know I was certainly shocked last year because at the end of the sale, I tallied everything up and I felt like I hadn't bought a lot because the sale was not very good. And it wound up, I spent over $300 without even realizing it. So I would say it's always good to have a budget. And it's also always good to remember that a lot of these things are actually included on GMA deals. They also do 50% off. The sale is always 50% off. There are some Instagram pages that keep track of that. The Beauty Steal and Beauty Deals BFF are two good ones, so you don't have to keep track. Like, I don't watch the Today Show. I have no idea what's happening over there, but those sites keep track of those sales, and when they come up and there's something really good, they always promote them. It's also pretty common for these items to be repeat in the Ulta sales. So if you see, for example, the MAC lipsticks, and you're not in the market for a lipstick right now, there's a really good chance you're going to see that again in the future, and these happen twice a year, so you really don't need to hurt yourself to purchase them now. I would say, looking over all of the deals here, there is not a single item in this entire sale that I feel like you would be disappointed missing out on. There are some good deals, but I don't think there's a single thing here that they don't make an equally as good version of somewhere else for just as cheap. So it's also good to keep that in mind. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, I'm going to start breaking this down day by day. So here we have Friday, August 30th. First up, I see the MAC Silky Matte Lipstick. I'm going to get one of these. I always get one of these during the sale. I think it's a really good formula, but I don't think it's anything revolutionary. I think if you are interested in trying a new lipstick or a new lipstick shade, it's a worthwhile purchase, but nothing, crazy going on here because obviously they've been around forever. We have the Airflow styling tool, gonna skip that. I don't often have a lot to say about hair. I will say I do get in trouble during the sale with hair products because I do always use it as an opportunity to try new things, and I've always pretty much only been disappointed, but that includes tools. I'm certainly not in the market for this. Perfume. Perfume is too personal. I can't really say much about perfume. We have the IGK Antisocial Bond Building Repair Dry Hair Mask. This is actually something I have. This, I will say, I was interested in this because it just sounded crazy, like a dry hair mask. Like, I kind of felt like I had to know. It's not something that I reach for that often. What I like to use it for is when I use my dry shampoo and my hair sometimes can get really stiff and it's like I can't even really run a brush through it. I will use this to sort of offset that, and it does not add any grease. So this is a great way to add shine to your hair without adding grease. Will I buy a backup? I shouldn't, because I rarely use this. I don't know. I don't use dry shampoo that much that I go through something like this that quickly. That being said, I don't know. I mean, 50% off, I might go ahead and get a backup because I do like it. It's good if you're somebody who has a hair type that produces a lot of oil. Like, I have very, very fine hair, and because of that, my scalp is always oily. As a result, I can't use a lot of the things that promote shine, like even the Color Wow. I know that's popular, and a lot of people say that that's not greasy. On me, it can be. So something like this, where you can add shine without any grease, is a great solution for anybody who struggles with that. That being said, I don't know a ton about hair, so is this doing anything reparative in the long run? I have no idea, but it is something that I do at least like, and it smells good. Next, I see the Peach and Lily, the Matcha Pudding Antioxidant Cream. This has been in this sale before. I think this is a good moisturizer. I did try a sample of it. However, I tried it, a travel size. So not a foil packet, a decent size, but it was so long ago that I don't remember. I feel like in the back of my mind, I sort of had it filed away that there was something in it that my skin reacted to poorly. So because of that, I think I'm gonna pass. but I know a ton of people love this moisturizer, so I definitely think this is a solid choice. Especially if you have really dry skin, I think it's a little bit on the thicker side, so it's a good moisturizer probably for most people. Have Bondi Boost, that's hair. We have these Maileys body products. There's a body serum and a firming cream, neck and deck. I'm not interested in Maileys. I feel like you can get good body care for a lot cheaper than that, so that's going to be a pass. This is going to be exciting for a lot of people. So the About Face Performer Foundation. I'm going to see if I can try, and if I can find it, I'll put it in B-roll. I bought this foundation when it came out because so many people loved it. So many people compared it to the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, which is one of my absolute favorite foundations. So I needed to know, full price is $22. So at $11, I think I highly recommend people try this for themselves. It didn't work for me because my skin is so dry that even though it looked okay at first, by the end of the day, you could see dry patches and it just wasn't very flattering. It didn't sit on my textured skin that well. However, my skin is so dry that I don't think most people are going to have that experience. I think this is something that is going to work for a ton of people, especially if you're looking for a more natural finish that is hydrated but not overly dewy. I just think it's a good foundation and I think a lot of people are going to like it. Next, we have the Beekman 1802 Milk Ceramide Serum. I am going to pick this up because I am curious about it. I've had mixed luck with Beekman products. I haven't loved everything, but I really liked their Bloom Cream Moisturizer. That worked great for my sensitive skin, and I also really like their milkshake. Those are two products that have been in previous sales, and that's when I tried those, and they both worked out great for me. I haven't really been compelled to try more facial skincare from them, but I don't know. It's cheap enough, so I'm gonna pick it up and give it a try. I am kind of biased. I always really want to love Beekman 1802 because it's like the real life Rose Apothecary, and I just think the goats are adorable, and I'm a big fan of their entire vibe and the company's ethos. So I will absolutely admit I am biased, and that is one of the reasons I am trying this. And finally, we have the Kitsch satin pillowcases. These are satin, not silk, but they feel very similar. I have had both. I will say the silk pillowcases that I've had hold up to multiple washings way better than the satin. I have also tried a number of satin scrunchies. I think I have a silk one in my hair right now, and the same thing. They feel the same, but they just don't last as long. So I don't think it's a bad investment, but I just don't get that excited about satin the way I do silk. Then on Saturday, August 31st, we have the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. This is a popular foundation for a reason. I think it's a good one. It's way too drying for my skin. I can't use most of the Lancome foundations or concealers because they're just not really meant for extra dry skin. So because of that, I just don't have a lot to say beyond that. We have the Clinique Almost Lipstick Black Honey. I do have Black Honey and I like it. It's not life-changing, so I'll be passing on this, but I think it's a cult classic for a reason. I do think it works for a lot of people, so if you're super curious, now would be the time to try it. We have two fragrances from Philosophy, Amazing Grace, and Fresh Cream. I might try the Fresh Cream one. I don't have high expectations from, Philosophy fragrances in general, but that sounds like something I might like. Next up, we have the Clarins Total Eye Lift and Firm Smoothing Eye Cream. Okay, so every sale, I do allow myself to try one more luxury product. I have had samples of this. I've had like decent 5 ml samples of this, and it worked well for me. Do I think it's going to do any of the claims? No, I don't. I don't think it's going to lift anything. But I will say I struggle finding eye creams that really work for me because my eyes are so sensitive. So based on that and that alone, I might try this. Clarins does always have something in the sale. Sometimes they even have multiple things. I think last time they had both their double serum face and eye products, which was kind of a big deal because those are quite expensive. I do really like those, and if that was in this sale, I would be purchasing that instead. So this is not actually my first choice, and I certainly don't think it's worth the price tag, but like despite that, like despite my better judgment, I might actually pick this up because I am sort of in the market for an eye cream that is just soothing and hydrating and I can use during the day without any irritation. Speaking of irritation, we have these Shiseido Benefits Wrinkle Smoothing Day Cream with SPF 23. What pisses me off about this, other than the fragrance and other irritating ingredients, is the SPF 23. Like, who is that helping? I don't really get it. They're including like these chemical SPFs that a lot of people, especially around their eyes, have sensitivities to. And it's at such a low SPF that you're probably not getting any of the benefits, but you're getting all of the irritation. So I don't use SPFs in creams like this just in general because I can't use a fourth of a teaspoon of this. So to me, it is just useless. Like, it's one thing when they put some SPF in a foundation and it's just sort of a little bit of an extra boost on top of your normal SPF, but when it's in a moisturizer like this, it pisses me off because I feel like, who is that helping? You're probably going to get like an SPF of 5 using it in a moisturizer. And to me, that's just utterly pointless. We have the Lancome La Base Pro Oil-Free Longwear Makeup Primer. This is like almost always in the sale. I bought it at one point and I realized as soon as I bought it that this is not for my skin type. Like, this is for, filling enlarged pores and smoothing the surface of the skin. While I do have some texture, I don't have oily skin or enlarged pores, so because of that, I used it like twice and now it just sits in my drawer. I mean, it's fine if you're interested. It's a popular product and there's no ingredients in this that make it worth the full price, so now is definitely the time to try it. But it's definitely one of those things that I bought because it was on sale and I really didn't need it. Next, we have a Baby Bliss Pro hair straightener. I don't straighten my hair, so I really have nothing to say about that. And then we have the Madison Reed hair color. So this is the hair color that I use actually. But I will say it does not last. I wash my hair every other day. And when I use this, I feel like I get some good color out of it for like maybe 2 weeks at the most. And after that, it looks like I never used it at all. My hair strands, obviously, the burnt dead hair, that'll hold color, but I'm mostly concentrating it, to make my roots look lighter. And, while I can say at least it doesn't turn my hair bright orange, it doesn't do the best job. The reason I keep buying it is because it is so gentle. So I can use this and I don't lose any hair when I wash it out. I have used box dyes in the past once or twice, and I lost so much hair doing that I just realized this is better for me. For somebody that is never going to go to a salon and you just want to lighten your hair as gently as possible, I think this is a good purchase. For anybody who wants color to last longer than a couple weeks, though, I'd say it's a safe skip. Then I see some Kenra Professional styling products. I've heard good things about this brand, but I know nothing about it. Then we have the Strivectin Super C Brighten and Repair Vitamin C Night Cream. This has some ingredients in it that would be way too irritating for me to ever try. I'm just over Strivectin in general. This is a brand that is often 50% off. I've seen it included in the GMA deals, and they're always in this sale, at least a few products. I've never been impressed by a single thing. I have to say, I've found products that I liked enough to use up, certainly, but I've never found a Strivectin product that I wanted to buy more than once. So I think that speaks volumes, and I don't think it's bad. I don't think these products are badly formulated, but I just don't think that they're really revolutionary, and I think that's proven by the fact that they're so often on sale. And finally, we have the It Brush for Ulta, the Complexion number 77. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes because it is dense and it's a triangle shape. So this popped up in the last Ulta sale like 5 different times. So I actually right now have 3 backups of it. I certainly don't need another one. But if you have a smaller face and have issues getting into nooks and crannies, I think this is a good option to try because of the unique shape of it. It's absolutely one of my favorite brushes just because of the shape. All right, then we have on Sunday, September 1st, the Olaplex number 3. I have tried the entire lineup from Olaplex and I like all of it. I have never met an Olaplex product that I don't like. However, there are some that I use more than others. Like I use the number 6 quite often. I think what's nice about them, including this one, is this is actually a treatment. So if you've been curious about trying anything from this lineup and you want the most potent version of it, this is, if not the most potent, it's one of their most potent products because it is a condensed treatment. That makes it a good trial product for somebody wanting to check it out. I have tried a few things similar to this by Living Proof, different bond rebearing, the K18. None of them have ever helped my hair at all, while Olaplex has. It makes my hair more manageable, softer, and shinier. So I'm a big fan. It's not something that I use all the time. Because I'm a fan of this lineup, I already have at least half a bottle of this. I just don't need another one right now because I don't take that good care of my hair. So it's like, should I buy it? Probably. But I know I'm not going to use it. So because of that, I'm going to skip, if that makes any kind of sense. It's definitely something I recommend though. Then we have the Supergoop Unscreened Sunscreen. I love this sunscreen. I will not be buying it because I just have sunscreens that work better for me. But if I was in a pinch and I needed to buy an American sunscreen, I would consider this. It did still irritate my skin slightly, but I think because the formula has as much dimethicone in it, I felt like somehow it didn't get into my skin and irritate it as much as other sunscreens. Regardless, it's clear, so this is going to work for a ton of people. I think it's great that it's included in this sale. It's going to be a skip for me, but I think it's a solid product. Then we have the Grande Cosmetics travel size of the lash serum. I don't do lash serums. I don't mess with lash serums. I tried them once. I had a really bad reaction where my eyes swelled up and it was just really bad. I had to throw it out immediately. So based on that, I've never really been tempted by these. I know, there are some considerable side effects that people talk about. So for me personally, it just didn't ever seem like something that was worth it, but they are expensive. So if you're interested or want to give it a try, now would be the time. We have a mascara and primer from Too Faced. I've always heard good things about these mascaras. I believe I've tried at least the Better Than Sex one at some point, and it was okay. It was like, it didn't knock my socks off, but it's a fine mascara, and if I was really in the need for a mascara, I might pick that up. We have Dry Bar Detox Thickening Dry Shampoo. I'm a little bit interested in this, but honestly, I have enough dry shampoo right now, so I probably won't. We have a fragrance from Ariana Grande. We have the Sunday Riley Luna Retinol Sleeping Night Oil. I have tried this, and it's just not for me. I don't really want retinol in an oil form to begin with. I don't necessarily think that's the best delivery system, but I'm also beyond retinol. I think retinol is good for beginners, people who are just looking to get into vitamin A. This is certainly very gentle, and it's a good option for people who really want to dip their toe in retinol in a gentle way. But if you're any more experienced than that with retinol, I'd say it's a safe skip. We have some dry bar tools. We have the Beauty Bio Eyeliner Concentrate Serum and Depuffing Tool. I do like these that have the cooling metal tip at the end. That being said, I've never been super impressed by Beauty Bio skincare, so I think I'm going to skip, but I do like that packaging. And finally, we have It Brushes for Ulta, Brow Lash and Styler Tool. All of these It Brushes for Ulta, they're all good. So if you see a tool that you're in the need of, I think they're a solid purchase. Monday, September 2nd, we have REM Beauty. We have 2 lip oils and 2 lip liners. I will be passing on the lip liners. I am a little bit interested in the lip oil. It's mostly the packaging. They got me with that silly little metal applicator in the center of it that looks enjoyable to me. That being said, looking at these a little bit further, I don't really see anything about them that stands out. So I know that I should pass. However, because I am tempted and I might end up picking that up, I'm just sort of giving a disclaimer for it now. Then we have the Solar Wave 4-in-1 Radiant Renewal Skincare Wand. I'll say right up front, this is a waste of money, don't do it. There are a number of devices that do everything that this claims, but better. So if you're interested in any one of the things this says it does, I would do more research about that thing and then find a tool based on that. This is certainly not doing any of these things well, so I try to reserve judgment, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is stupid. Don't buy it. And we have some eye paints and liners from Half Magic. I may pick one of these up. It's so ridiculous with me and liquid eyeshadows. I don't use liquid eyeshadows. I never use them. And if I did, I have a few that I like and I own them already. So the fact that I'm even tempted by this is just silliness. I like Half Magic. I have their glitter puck. I love that thing, but I don't see myself actually using this. Despite that, I might pick one up anyway, just so I can prove myself right that I won't use it. We have some hair products from Matrix. I really don't know anything about Matrix. We have the Cheek Plump from Tarte. I will be passing on these. I definitely don't need blush, and if I do, I don't need it from Tarte. This is the day we have the Kopari Moisture Whip Ceramide Cream. I will absolutely be buying another one of these. It's not something that I love enough to buy two, but I'm certainly going to buy one. Then we have the LMS Superfood Facial Wash. I will probably get one of these. I've had this in the past. The last time I bought it was during one of these sales, and this lasted me for friggin' ever. This one bottle of face wash. Honestly, I don't even know how many ounces it is. It's not that the bottle is that big. It's just so concentrated and you need such a minuscule amount that is the reason it lasted forever. I have to admit, by the time I was near the end, I couldn't wait to finish it so I could just move on to something else. So I wasn't like excited to use it, but it's a good gel. It doesn't strip your skin, and it's probably the most economical face wash I have ever come across. So I will likely get another one of those. Like I said, it's not revolutionary. I like milky cleansers better than this, but because it's so cost effective, I think that reason alone might be the reason I pick another one up. We have a Briogeo shampoo. Don't really need that. We have Kinship Brightening Serum. This is a vitamin C serum. I think this is fine probably for a lot of people. There are definitely ingredients in this that make it irritating for me, so I'm going to personally pass, but if you don't have sensitive skin, this might be fine. And finally, we have a Beekman 1802 Coconut Cream Goat Milk Body Care Trio. We have a hand cream, a body cream, and a soap. I will be passing because I'm just not in the market for any of those things, but I do really like the body care from Beekman 1802. I've never come across a body care product from them that I didn't like. Tuesday, September 3rd, we have the Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment, the avocado treatment. I have tried this in the past and I did like it. However, it was slightly sensitizing. There is, I believe, phenoxyethanol in here, and that just makes my skin burn. And while it's not really a deal breaker because the burning sensation does go away and it only lasts for a few seconds, it's enough, especially in an eye cream, for me to just say thank you next. You know, I feel like there's enough eye creams on the market that I don't really need this. However, I know that this works for most people, and I think if you have very dry skin, you're gonna love this because it definitely is super, super hydrating, and I really liked it for that reason. All right, from Nude Sticks, some eye sticks. I never use these creamy eyeshadows in a stick. I don't ever use them. I have so many and they're just not shimmery enough. Like, they add a nice shine for a little bit of one and done, but that's just not how I do eye makeup, so I'm just not in the market for anything like that. We have some bedhead hair products. Gonna skip on that. We have Saint Tropez, the Bronzing Water Face Mist. I've heard decent things about this. I don't really hurt myself enough to use self-tanner. It's laziness. I love to look tan. I love the way self-tanner looks on me, but I just don't ever take the time to do it. And honestly, if I did, it probably wouldn't be in a face mist like this because I just worry about the evenness of the application. I would probably use something a little more controlled than that. We have some Chi hair care, gonna skip on that. Then we have this from Lorac. I found this interesting because I didn't know that Lorac made anything. I knew about the contour palette. That went viral a few years ago, and obviously their eyeshadows, which are not in this sale for the first time, I think, ever. I don't think I've ever seen an Ulta sale like this where they didn't have multiple Lorac eyeshadow palettes. I really like their eyeshadow palettes. However, out of curiosity, I think during one of these sales, I picked up this contour palette. I never use it. It's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my preferred colors, so because of that, I never use it. I had no idea that they made any of these other things. Like, they have a foundation? Like, that is news to me. Foundation, concealer, primer, all these other liquid and powder products, like that is news to me. But, like a lot of people say, it's a very sleepy brand, and it absolutely is. I don't see a single thing here that's interesting enough for me to really want to buy it. And part of me feels bad saying that because I feel like they've made solidly good products for a really long time. I wish that I could be more a fan of the brand, but I'm just not. So I'm going to skip on that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that later on in the sale, Stila has some palettes that are very similar to this in terms of having the bronze highlight and contour all in one palette. And there might be some colors there that you're more interested in. So if you are looking for products like this, I would say at least look at those first, just in case. We have some hand skin cleansing balms. I pretty much always pick up cleansing balms when they're on sale. However, these all have exfoliating acids in them, and I don't need that. Like, I really want my cleansing balms to be as soothing as possible, so because of that, I'm going to skip. Then we have this Dime TBT Serum, Mandelic Acid, and Peptides. I'm going to skip on that because some of these ingredients just look a little bit irritating. Total side note, have you been being inundated with Dime ads lately? I feel like they're following me all over social media and YouTube. Every 3 seconds, I'm seeing one of these commercials, and they're so annoying that it's making me, like, not that I was ever really interested in Dime, but now I'm like actively disinterested in trying them. They are pushing the clean aspect of this brand so hard that I think if I ever was tempted to try something from them, I am no longer. And I will be passing on this, mostly because the ingredients aren't something that I'm looking for right now, but beyond that, I'm just kind of annoyed with the company in general. So I don't know if that's just my algorithm or what, but I'm happily passing on that. Then we have Chi hair tools, and finally Lime Crime lip stuff. I am not interested in anything from Lime Crime. I'm gonna pass on that. All right, Wednesday, September 4th. We have the Murad Rapid Dark Spot Correcting Serum. I think we also have some sunscreens from Murad coming up in these sales. This is probably the #1 brand that I see in GMA deals. They are always 50% off. And obviously, no, it's not their entire lineup, but I know for a fact that I've seen this product and I've definitely seen their sunscreens multiple times on GMA deals. So I think if you're a fan of any of these, only pay 50% off. I've looked into the Murad products and I've tried samples here and there. They just don't work for me because of my extra sensitive skin, but I do know that they work for a lot of people. So with that in mind, this might be a good time to pick it up. We have Wella shampoo and conditioner. I feel like this brand, I think they just remind me of a similar brand that used to do a lot of infomercials. I don't know, my memory is terrible, but because of that, I've always been turned off in terms of trying anything from them. I don't think they're the same company. I think they are actually two different companies, but they're linked in my memory. And because of that, I'm biased against them. That being said, anytime I've ever tried hair care products out of pure curiosity during the sale, I've been disappointed. So I think I'm just over it at this point. But obviously, there's lots of shampoos and conditioners. So I would say look at the entire sale before you decide which one you might want to try. We have some Bobbi Brown blush. Bobbi Brown makes nice powder products. I don't think they're revolutionary at all. So, if you're unlike most people and you don't have 8,000 blushes from this past year, this might be something worth looking into, but I think for most of us, we just have too much blush. Paul Mitchell Flexible Style Sculpting Foam. I know a lot of people love Paul Mitchell, but I just can't speak to anything like that. We have the Moon Whitening device. I don't mess with the teeth whitening stuff. My teeth are too sensitive, so I just don't even bother looking into any of it. But in case you're in the market for that, we have Pure Correcting Primers. I prefer color correctors that are more targeted than an all-over face primer, but you know, it's worth looking into if you're in the market for that, I guess. Then we have Clinique All About Eyes Rich Cream. This is a nice solid eye cream. Clinique is another brand that just puts people to sleep, but they don't make bad stuff. I've only gotten them in free samples like most people. Most people don't pay for Clinique products, but having had this as a GWP multiple times, I can say that I like it a lot. Don't like it enough to buy it, but it does what it says. It's definitely hydrating. Then we have the PMD Microdermabrasion. I have a scar from this. I got this as a gift years ago, and I would say it's not worth messing with. I mean, if you're educated in how to use it, I think it could potentially be fine, but I think for a vast majority of the people, it's just a really bad idea. So I would probably skip on that unless you're confident you know how to use that well. Persona Lip Balm and Liner. The last thing on this earth that I need is another lip balm. However, of course, I am interested because, like most people, I'm completely addicted to wanting to buy more lip balm. But, you know, there's nothing that really stands out about this. Unless you're really in the need of a new lip balm, I think it's a safe pass. We have a bunch of stuff from Kate Somerville. We have a vitamin C and retinol moisturizer, Wrinkle Warrior, Age Arrest Wrinkle Cream, Repair Cream. These all look fine. My skin is too sensitive. I have tried a few products from Kate Somerville, and I think they're formulated well, but I think they often include ingredients that just don't work for people with extra dry, sensitive skin like me. So because of that, I'm going to pass. But they're a cult classic for a reason, and now would be the time to pick it up if you're curious. We have sexy hair products. Gonna pass on that. I did try a bunch of their volumizing products years ago. They just left my hair really sticky, and because of that, I'm just kind of over it. Thursday, September 5th, we have a Ralph Lauren perfume. There is a bunch of perfume in this, actually. I have never been a fan of the fashion house perfumes. I don't know if I'm a little bit of a perfume snob. I don't know what that's about. I prefer perfume from perfume exclusive houses. I just think it tends to be better in general. That being said, I do think that the YSL Black Opium is quite good, and I do think that is coming up later on in the sale, so I'm tempted by that one, but I'm not really tempted by any of the other ones. Benefit Cosmetics FanFest Mascara. I think a lot of people like this, so now is definitely the time. I know that's a solid mascara. Polite Society Lip Balm. That's going to be a no from me. I am never going to buy anything from Polite Society. And if you're interested, you could look up the drama about Jared Blandino, but I don't feel like going into that right now. It's just going to be a no. Okay, Morphe brushes. These are probably decent. I would say I would probably recommend the IT brushes before the Morphe brushes. I think these are probably not going to last that long, but hey, I'm surprised that Morphe is even still around, to be honest with you. Actually, this day in general is not great. Then we have Clinique Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum Foundation. I think I got this as a free sample as well. This is fine, but again, I think the SPF is pretty useless, and foundation or concealer, I'm not really impressed by either of these products, unfortunately, so it's going to be a pass. We have AG Hair Care. Don't know anything about them. We have the Tula 24/7 Ultra Hydration Day and Night Serum. I am interested in this. I am cautiously interested though because I have not had the best luck with Tula products. I feel like something that they're using in their ingredients I find a little bit sensitizing. I'm always a bit cautious, but I don't know. I mean, I'll look into seeing what some other people have to say about their experience with this. I don't know. I'm on the fence. It's like just a little bit too expensive to blind buy it. So I feel like Because I don't have my favorite hydrating serum right now, I might give it a try just to see how it goes, but it's one I am very, very much on the fence about. Here is where we have the Murad SPFs, oil and pore control mattifying SPFs. Good if you're in the market for that. Another IT brush for Ulta. And finally, the iconic London Underglow Primer and Radiance Tinted Moisturizer. I've never been that impressed with Iconic London. I don't know, so based on the few things that I've tried, I think I'm gonna skip on these, but maybe there's something I don't know. Then on September 6th, we have Truly Shave Sets. This is a safe pass for me. I'm good. Like, I have my shaving stuff, but this could be interesting to somebody who is looking to try a new shaving system. I don't know. I know those products are popular because they're colorful, and I'm not above liking something just for the color. Then we have the Bare Minerals 16-Hour Perfecting Powder Foundation. I don't really do powder foundation, but I've heard good things about this one. And here's where we have the CosRx 6-Peptide Skin Booster Serum. I will be picking one of these up. Not the most exciting serum. I don't think it did anything revolutionary, but it's inoffensive and I can take all the hydration I can get. So I'll get another one of those. Then we have the Pureology Shampoo and Conditioner. Gonna skip on that. We have a gua sha tool. I think you can get something equally as good for even cheaper than this on 50% off. Then we have the Tarte Shape Tape Setting Spray. I'm just going to skip on this because I have too many setting sprays at this point. None of them are actually better than MAC Fix Plus for me, for somebody with dry skin. Then we have IT Cosmetics. We have a bunch of different serums, an under eye treatment, and a cleansing balm. I think these are all too expensive and they're not really sensitive skin friendly in my opinion, but I think these are sort of competing with The Ordinary in terms of single ingredient focus. So if you're really in the market and say you just want to try niacinamide on its own, I think this is probably a fine way to do that. It's just not something that stands out in the market, in my opinion, these days, and you could get something from The Ordinary for a better price. Then we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Complexion Products. That's going to be a pass for me for multiple reasons. I'm not the biggest fan of Anastasia, but I also really don't need any more stick anything. Then we have Sebastian hairspray, know nothing about that. Then we have the Peter Thomas Roth Firm X Exfoliating Peeling Gel. So this is one of those, they became popular in K-beauty, the peeling gels, where the ingredients in the gel peels on itself and forms little balls that are exfoliating. It's a really good, gentle exfoliator. It's a physical exfoliation. So instead of doing that with a more irritating ingredient, this sort of uses like a silicone feeling where it's very soft and gentle and it exfoliates your skin that way. This being on sale for $24.50, in my opinion, I think you could still do better in K-beauty. But, some people really like that sensation, and if you're into that, I think it's worth picking up. I think otherwise, it's not something that I'm gonna get, and I'm not the biggest fan of Peter Thomas Roth in general, but, it's a cleanser at the end of the day. And we have another IT brush from Ulta. Okay, so I keep overheating because clearly this video is getting way too long. I usually, by the final week of the sale, I've usually gotten my act together a little bit, so hopefully these will shorten up. But really quick, I did want to mention, I started going over Saturday, September 7th because it is a good day. Here we have the YSL Black Opium Lait Parfum, and I know there are two versions of this. There's an Eau de Parfum and a Lait Parfum, and I think the Lait Parfum is the more concentrated version and the one with vanilla, so I am very tempted by this. If I make any big purchases during the sale, it will probably be that. This is also the day that we have the Benefit blushes that I'm definitely going to grab one of those. So I'll be going over that next time, but I did want to throw that in there in case anyone was interested. And anyway, the last thing that I wanted to mention, and I'll put a pinned comment about this as well, is just that in case anything does actually sell out, it's important to remember that they price match at other retailers. So directly, you can look at Target for these Ulta products, and anything that they also have at Sephora, they will be price matching, or they always have. So I assume that they're going to do that again. And then the backup for Sephora would be to check at Kohl's. So it's good to keep that in mind. I would say it's always possible that other retailers price match. So in the off chance that something does sell out, you may be able to find it somewhere else. So that is it. That is everything for this video. I don't know if I'm going to have time to film anything else this week. Tomorrow we are going to a rescue to visit a puppy that we've put an inquiry in for. I don't know how long you've been with me, but I did when I first started this channel. We were fostering a puppy and we were hoping to keep it, but it was an absolute disaster. The dog was just not very nice, and finally, when it bit my dog, we pulled the plug and he had to go somewhere else. We found him a good home, but it was kind of traumatic. So because of that, we've put our puppy search on hold, but we've still been looking and we definitely do want to get a second dog. So that's going to tie me up all day tomorrow, but regardless, there's a bunch of stuff coming down the line. So if you've sat through all of this, you're amazing. I love you so much. I hope you're having a fabulous week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.